This video is going to be about the significance of the scarab in my life and what it means to me. So, the overall meaning of the scarab to me would represent perseverance, but also um, luck. It stands for luck because I can honestly say that I'm someone who has been very lucky in the past, and I'm grateful for that. I'm also, pretty happy that I've been able to have the opportunities that um, I've had in my life, and I'm proud of every moment, even every mistake that I've made because it's made me who I am. The scarab started showing up to me, when I was about 3 years old. I was having extreme, vivid nightmares that were reoccurring where I'd be getting chased by some ginormous spiders that every time I would go into a different room, I'd turn a corner, I'd drop down into, these trap doors that I would slide. Um, it would always come back to the point where the spiders can overpower everything that I was doing. They would break everything down. They would continue chasing after me. They would try and swipe at my leg. They'd try and bite me, but they never could actually get me because every time when this dream was going to come to an end, the scarab would come and save me and I'd feel safe. When I'd wake up, I would feel safe. I would feel a very loving presence around me. I would feel, extremely calm and happy. And you know how much this means to a child who's 3 years old, who's having nightmares, who can't tell this to their parents because their parents are telling them that maybe something is wrong with the kid. It's a very validating and a very comforting thing. This is the reason why, or one of the top reasons I would say I really appreciate the scarab. But there's about at least three or four more occurrences where it also just proven to me when I was older that it it is a worthwhile, energy to have around me. So the second time that I encountered the scarab that I can remember was when I was having a really strange dream. It was already really odd. Uh, I was having a dream where I was laying on the bed, but I woke up within this dream and there were all kinds of hieroglyphs all over my wall. There were hieroglyphs that were everywhere. Pictures of Anubis, there were pictures of all kinds of Egyptian pharaohs, everything within my room. There were even kind of torches that were standing up within my room. And I didn't even have a reaction because I hadn't seen anything like that since I was, 3. So I, in that dream, I just decided, I just want to try to take myself back to sleep so that I can wake up. But when I did that, uh, the scarab appeared again, but it appeared as a green beetle on my pillow. When I looked at it, I didn't hear anything. It wasn't moving. It just stayed there. And then all of a sudden, it just looked like a rock. It kind of turned into a rock and just sat on the pillow. Then I turned around and I just saw a like hundreds of scarabs on the ceiling that were gold. They started to fall, and my room basically started raining scarabs. I didn't exactly know what the hell was going on. I kind of freaked out. In that dream, I got up and I ran outside of the room. When I ran outside of the room, I opened the door and my brother was waiting outside with a few of my friends in the car. I got into the car and we started driving. But when we started driving, I looked back. There was nothing there at first when I looked back. Then my brother hands me a bag of candy when I turn back around, and his favorite candy is cherry sours. That's my brother's favorite freaking candy. So I see this bag of cherry sours. I'm looking at it, and I hear a voice in my head tell me to turn around. So I turn around in the car, and I see the green scarab really huge chasing after the car. So I just see it chasing after the car, and I'm like in shock, telling my brother, "Do you see that? Do you see that?" But he doesn't see it. So I'm, completely just consumed with fear when, I decided to just turn back around to try and forget about it. The car hits a bump, and then I fall out of the car, and I basically end up consuming the scarab. Uh, because I thought it was going to eat me, but the scarab came and the energy just went into my body. So I consumed it. And after that, I woke up. In the dream, I was afraid, but when I woke up, I felt very safe. After that, I had an encounter where I ended up in a predicament that led to me becoming homeless, and I didn't have anyone that I knew in this state. I didn't have anyone to turn to. My phone that I had at the time was just dead. Uh, it was terrible. So I'm just walking around, and it's literally like it hadn't even been an hour since I had gotten just left dropped there. Basically, I just got dropped. Like I got kicked out of the person's car, and they just left me there. And so I walked into this place, and when I walked into this place, it's like a place. It's called the Hope Center. You walk in, and you basically you walk in, and you just basically ask if you can be taken somewhere. You ask about shelters, whatever. But I don't know. I had a good feeling, you can say. So everything seemed to not be going well. I go in. I did get a glass of water. I got something to eat. They gave me a number for a guy that you can call to give you rides to certain places if you have family or whatever and you need help. I did have a friend. Well, she will remain nameless because I don't want to put her name out there. I did have a friend that I could go to, but at the time, um, the circumstances just weren't right. I couldn't get a ride there. The guy that I could call to get that ride wasn't in the town that I was in, and I was in Kissimmee, Florida. So in that town, I basically just waited. Like I just sat. So I hung the phone up. He's like, "I'm not gonna be back until tomorrow." I'm like, "I don't have until tomorrow. What am I gonna do?" So I'm starting to think. I'm panicking. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to put stuff together. I'm trying to be brave. I'm trying to stick it out. I'm trying to I'm really trying to keep myself from thinking the worst case scenario. And basically after that, I walk outside, and this guy was just standing there, and he felt um, very familiar. His energy felt very, very familiar. We talked, and he basically pointed out the fact that I was not from that state, and he knew it. And he told me that he was going to help me out. Yeah, I stayed with him. Once, a few days passed, we woke up one day, and we were walking down the street to try and find some food. And basically, I saw a big gold scarab on the ground. So I pointed it out, and I asked him, did he see it? But he didn't see it. So I'm like, how could you not see it? It was right there in front of us. It crawled and ran right past me, but in front of me, it crossed my path, and it disappeared. By the time I had looked back to the ground from talking to him, it was gone. We continue walking for probably about 5 more minutes, and I kid you not, we arrive at this bus stop. I end up seeing a a ginger ale that was cold, and it's hot on this day in Florida, so there's no way this ginger ale could be cold. There was also a little packaged sandwich like that you get from the store as if someone just bought it. Um, it was sealed and everything, and it was a pretzel bread sandwich with ham and cheese. Like, for those of you who do know me, like my friends that watch these, you know that I love pretzels. Like, I love pretzels. So pretzel bread, That's my jam. And I was just like, oh yeah, we can split this, we can share it, because that's how I am, you know? And he told me, no, you saw it, that's yours. So we continue walking down the street, and then we see this bag, right? And I'm just like, why is this bag tied to a tree? Like, it's weird. Like, if somebody just tied this bag to a tree and was hoping someone would come find it. We open the bag, and there's fresh oranges, bananas, and apples in the bag. Like, if it just fell out of the sky and it was just for us. So I'm like, hey man, yeah, I'm trying to share this with him. He didn't want any. He said he didn't want any, whatever. Um, and then I just start thinking, was it the scarab that I saw that did this? Or is this just some kind of weird circumstance where had this opportunity? Um, After that, I really just started feeling a profound and really special connection to the scarab. So once I was, out of that predicament and everything, I ended up, like a few years later, getting the scarab tattooed on my wrist. I got that tattooed on me because the scarab is literally my power animal. That's what I would consider my power animal. In those situations and those dreams, it's kept me safe. Even when I was down on my luck, having the worst time, the scarab was still there, and it came through for me. Egyptian energies and Egyptian magic worked for me. And for some reason, it always has. So it will always mean so much to me. And that's the reason why the name of my channel is The Tomb of the Scarab, because I consider that animal, my power animal, where my safe haven is. Whenever it's around, I consider that to be, home. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think.